Hello, coaches and basketball enthusiasts. Welcome to the Coach Carvalho podcast, the podcast that dives into the world of basketball analytics and bold, game-changing training methods. I'm Coach Carvalho, your host. In today's episode, we're taking a closer look at the shell drill, a traditional defensive training method, and examining why it falls short of meeting the strategic and analytical demands of modern basketball. While the shell drill has been foundational in teaching team defense, it promotes a reactive style of play. Instead of proactively disrupting ball movement, it trains players to react after the fact, allowing the offense to dictate the pace of a game. This approach directly conflicts with the goals of defensive analytics, which focus on disrupting offensive flow and reducing point production per possession. In basketball, reactive defense means responding to the offense's moves rather than taking control. This often leads to a passive and predictable approach, allowing the offense to control the rhythm and exploit opportunities with minimal resistance. In contrast, a proactive defense seizes the initiative. Players disrupt the offense's rhythm from the outset with aggressive tactics, including tight coverage of key players, intense ball pressure, and effective trapping in pick-and-roll situations. Embracing a proactive strategy is crucial for basketball analytics as it helps control the game's tempo, forces turnovers, and generates opportunities for turning defensive actions into high-percentage scoring opportunities. By adopting a proactive defensive approach, teams can maximize their defensive effectiveness. When aligned with analytical goals, this strategy enhances overall efficiency, disrupts opponents' possession time, and reduces their points per possession, taking them out of their preferred offensive flow. The shell drill training method falls short of meeting basketball analytics defensive goals by failing to account for individual offensive threats and roles. In a strategic game, identifying and neutralizing key players and cutting off passing lanes are essential defensive tactics. Ignoring these factors undermines defensive execution and leaves teams vulnerable in critical moments. The absence of targeted defensive strategies grounded in the numerical logic of the game can ultimately be costly and significantly impact the outcome. In today's era of three-point dominance, the shell drill's traditional setup often positions defenders too deep in the paint during help rotations, leaving perimeter shooters open. This predictable approach creates opportunities for offenses to take uncontested and high percentage three-point shots, a major flaw in modern basketball defense. Additionally, the shell drill allows offenses to maintain possession too easily. This contradicts a core metric of basketball data-driven defensive goals, such as disrupting the offensive flow balance and limiting point production per possession. These weaknesses highlight why this traditional method struggles to align with the demands of today's game. The bad habits instilled by the shell drill, such as failing to deny passing lanes, not taking away key passes, and relying on predictable rotations, make it easier for offenses to anticipate defensive reactions to their strategies. This predictability allows high-level teams to prepare effectively, maintain their rhythm, and capitalize on their preferred scoring opportunities. Watching Division I men's basketball games, it's clear that teams lean on this conventional defensive method, often let the offense dictate the tempo. This allows offenses to execute their game plans with ease and access their best scoring options without significant resistance. Furthermore, the shell drill's passive side-to-side player movement, resembling a zone defense, falls short in teaching the critical techniques needed to shorten the opponent's possession time and disrupt their offensive flow and point production per possession. These elements are essential in real game scenarios where active and strategic defensive positioning is crucial. A defense capable of challenging offensive plans, limiting opportunities, and leveling the playing field is essential for true success at any level of basketball. While the shell drill may help reinforce some basic defensive concepts like stance and footwork, it falls short of addressing modern, data-driven basketball's dynamic and strategic demands. To gain a real competitive edge, teams must adopt more aggressive and analytically based defensive practices that align with the realities of today's game. Thank you for joining me on this critical examination of the traditional shell drill here on the Coach Carvalho podcast. Our goal is to challenge the status quo and promote strategies rooted in basketball analytics. That's how to bridge the gap and give teams a true chance at success against any level of competition. Well, coaches, that wraps up today's episode. Keep working hard, rethinking your approaches, and striving to make an impact where it matters most. You found today's discussion insightful. We greatly appreciate your support by leaving likes and comments on our podcast website. Your feedback helps us improve and strengthens our ability to attract sponsors and deliver valuable content. This podcast is a community that thrives because of your participation. Remember that you can tune in on platforms like TuneIn, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and more. Coaches, I look forward to you joining me for the next episode. Until then, keep rethinking your approaches, stay sharp, and make sure your game plans are built to make an impact where it matters most. Defense. This is Coach Carvalho signing off.